Good morning everyone, welcome back to another video, another start of a new series as well. We are on a big renovation project down in West London, Shepherd's Bush area. For those of you who know the area, we're working on here in a project. So we have a 5-bedroom house, actually it's a 5-bedroom house. It's originally a typical 3-bedroom terraced house with a loft conversion which has extra 2 bedrooms and an extra bathroom. So it's 2 bathrooms, 5 bedrooms, 2 living rooms and a kitchen. We are going to be doing a full renovation of the house top to bottom. We are also going to be doing some structural work in this house because we're knocking some walls out. We're opening up the kitchen and dining, which I'll show you guys as well. We've got quite a bit of steel work involved as a result of that. We're putting a downstairs toilet as well under the stairs, and new bathroom, new kitchens and all that stuff. New electrics, new plumbing all the way from the meter. We're putting in new water pipes, new plumbing, full electric rewire, new radiators, new flooring, new painting, the whole thing. We're doing the whole house. So I'm going to quickly show you guys a little bit of what's happened. The guys last week, they came down, they did some wallpaper stripping. There's wallpaper everywhere in this house. It's all lath and plaster walls. There's a lot of walls going to be having to knock back. A lot of plastering, a lot of skimming. Obviously, you guys are fully qualified plasterers now. So yeah, let me just show you guys what we've done so far, and I'll explain what the plans are. Right, guys. So this is the entrance to the house. So we've entered the house. The guys are already taking wallpaper off here. You can see taking wallpaper off the ceiling, wallpaper off all these walls everywhere, wallpaper all the way up. They've also done the front living room. Again, we're taking the wallpaper off, wallpaper on the ceiling, wallpaper on all the walls. Everywhere is wallpaper. You can see the state of it. The walls are in quite a bad state. This is under the stairs, so there's eventually going to be a toilet under here. Meters and stuff are all moving. There's a load of stuff like that to happen. There's a rear sort of dining area. You get some light. So we'll be in here soon as well. We've got to take all the wallpaper off the walls, off the ceiling. We're doing some new work here, so I think we're putting in a door here, or moving it and putting a door in here to go outside. Boiler's gonna have to be moved as well, because we're taking this wall out. So we're taking this entire wall out here. We're taking this wall out here as well. And we're taking this wall off up to here. So the living room, the dining, the kitchen is all going to be open plan. So it's going to be quite a large space, light space. So you'll be getting the dual aspect daylight through the windows. And the kitchen side, which is over there, is a small kitchen. There's a window. Sorry, there's a door. We're going to put in a window there and put in the door here. So you'll be able to go out through this lounge to there. So I'll show you guys quickly upstairs a little bit. What you guys are doing now. Ripping the first old bathroom out. So client is still in the house, actually. They're in the loft, so we're going to be working on this floor for now. The loft is fairly new, so it really just needs redecorating and a new bathroom. So we're going to tackle that, the upstairs of the loft, later on in the build. We're in the bathroom now. The guys have started ripping tiles off. You can see the state of this tiling. You see someone has to go at the tiling here at some point. Plaster just coming off everywhere. We may do some modification here. The client wants a wider shower here, so we're going to see if possible we can move this frame over a little bit. Obviously the door's going to be slightly smaller. It is a large door, so we might be able to get a bit more space. I'm going to do the measurements today, see if they can get a larger 800 shower in this corner here, which is where they want the shower. Oh yeah, so we're just in here taking plaster off. You can see how bad this stuff is. Back to the brick all coming off. So a lot of plaster to hack off, a lot of bonding and stuff like that, hard wall and skimming plasterboard and all that stuff. Yeah, there's some timber, somebody's screwed timber and probably the plasterboard was damaged for water ingress and someone's patched it with plywood. So we've got to break all that out as well. Right, so see the other rooms that have been worked on. So there's this room here, which guys have already taken all the plaster off. You can see here some places how bad it is. It's going right back to the brick. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of plastering work to do in this house. The ceiling has been replaced. When they were doing the loft, we were told there was some damage to the ceiling. So this is a brand new ceiling. So we didn't have to take any wallpaper off this ceiling, and it's really nice and flat. So it will stay like this. It's just the walls we're going to have to plaster in here. Obviously we need to get the floorboards up. We can put new electrics and new plumbing and all radiators and all that stuff. Then we have this smaller box room again. Again, you can see around the windows, lots of damage we had, water ingress, plasters just come off right back to the brick. All around here, all these skirting boards are going to get ripped out. You can see here is the old lath plaster, and some of this stuff is really bad. It's just crumbling off. So a lot of this stuff is going to have to be replaced. Again, all the ceilings, cracks everywhere. So all needs to be addressed. This room at the moment is packed with stuff, so we can't go in there. Just quickly show you guys a little bit of upstairs. So we've got a loft, which is fairly new. So at least everything is in good condition up here. It will be minor decorating, like filling. I mean, some filling here. You see things like that. Screws that's burst off the wall. Filling, caulking, that sort of stuff. Easy stuff for the boys to do. As you can see, some cracking on the ceiling here. Got a skylight. So we have one bedroom here. We have one bedroom here, which are being used. And then we have a bathroom in here, which is also getting ripped out and being all replaced. So that is pretty much the state of things. So today we are working on clearing the bathroom out, getting it ready so we can do some plaster work in there, sort of square everything up. So today we're in here, and then also I've got to do a load of measurements today for all the steel work. Let me show you guys roughly, and explain roughly what we're doing with the steel work. So roughly around here, we're going to have a steel vertical column, which will obviously be boxed in. So we need to get under the ground. We've got to put foundations. We've got to put foundations down there. We'll have a steel beam coming up here. Basically, this wall here, or the foundations of this wall, are not strong enough to support all the steel work that's going on. So we'll have the column up here, and then we will have a steel sitting on it, running on top of it or bolted to it, running all the way along this wall here, all the way to that wall here. And on the other side where the window is going to be, there's going to be steel running across almost like a lintel basically, and that steel will be sitting on top of it and bolted to it. So that's that end of it. So then this whole wall will be able to come out, and also off the steel that's running this way, there'll be another steel bolted to it here above this wall, and it'll be running across into the party wall of the neighbors. So we have a party wall agreement there. So it will run across to there, and when that run across, this lath and plaster wall can come out. So then, as I said, this whole thing is going to be opened out from this side all the way across to here and all the way out to this kitchen. So you'll be able to see essentially the kitchen from the front door. This whole space you'll be able to see. So it'll be very much open and quite bright. So we can see our gas pipe in here, or just about. I'm not sure if we've got any light in here. Yes, we do. So we've got our gas pipes. There's loads of stuff. You can see at some point the gas pipe has been, some work has been done, and they've put in a new pipe and they've surface mounted it. They put it surface mounted, and obviously it's going on top of the wall that we're going to be knocking out. It's running across here, it's running down to the boiler, and they put a new boiler in. So that pipe is going to have to end up being rerouted, probably buried in the ceiling or under the ground, under the floor to the new position. I think the boiler is probably going to go over there now in a kitchen cabinet. So actually, I'm looking for a plumber actually, or a gas engineer in the area, West London. Plumber, gas engineer, get at me. And maybe you can come and quote us to do this as well. Come and work with us. So that needs to be done very soon as well. Right, I'm just going to explain a little bit of the steel work detail. Actually, what I'm going to do is sketch it out quickly here. So as I'm doing it, I can explain from this drawing. So we're going to have a column here, which is going to, just the floor. It's going to go down underneath the floor here, and it's going to be on a foundation. Okay. comes out of the floor, up the wall. Then on top of it, we're gonna have a steel running this way, which is gonna basically run along that way. And on that end, where there's gonna be a window, there'll be a steel beam on top of the window. And this steel will be sitting on the end of that steel here. Now going that way to the neighbor's side, we're gonna have another steel connected off it somewhere around here, like this. And that end of the steel, 100 mil of it, is gonna sit in the party wall. Right, so I'm here today. I have the detail of all these different connections. There's connection here, there's connection here, and there's connection here. I need to get the measurements of the actual lengths of the steel and where, for instance, exactly where this connection is, so that the steel manufacturers can make the bolts in the right place. Same thing for here. They can drill the holes and so on, make the plates, weld the plates. So here, there's going to be basically a column that's going to go tight up to this timber frame here. So this timber frame is supporting the door jamb, and we're gonna put the steel right up to it so we can actually screw this timber straight into the side of that steel. So the steel that's going to be going here is going to be a 152 by 152 UC. That typically means 152 millimeters in length, in width, sorry, and 152 in depth. So the steel is something, if you look from above, it's sort of shaped like this. You've probably seen it. Some people call them an I-beam, shaped like an eye when you look from above or from the end of it. And it's going to be 152 mil here wide, and it's also going to be 152 that way. So it's essentially square. All right. The UC stands for universal column, and the other steel here is going to be a UB, which is universal beam. So if we imagine we're going to have from here to here 152 millimeters, so that's 15.2 centimeters, maybe roughly here. We're literally going to sit in between these two. This onward is all going to go. The only piece that's staying is that one. So we'll have our steel sitting straight down here into the ground, straight up. So what we need to do is find out where the bottom of the steel is going to be under the ground and measure from the bottom of the steel up to where the top of the steel is going to be. Okay. What I'll be working is I'll usually work downwards. So for instance, this steel here that's running to support the joist upstairs, what we will do is we will find out where the top of the steel is, where it's going to be sitting on the joist. Again, I'll show you here. So there's going to be a steel running along here. This is the party wall. It's typically going to be 100 mil sitting inside the wall. So we have to make sure we include that measurement when we're measuring it. So we'll measure from the wall and then we add the 100 mil or whatever. Obviously, you have to allow for the plaster. These walls are quite thick, so you've got to add the plaster length as well. And then where it sits on top of this steel, and there's going to be some sort of welded plate on there, and it's going to be bolted down like this into that. So this is the 203 by, what's the size on that? 203 by what?
203 by 133.
133. Yeah. So 203 in this case is going to be the height. So it's going to be 203 millimeters in height. And then the depth of it, if I can do it in 3D, or the width of it, is going to be 133.
Yo, architect one.
What are you saying? We're good? Right, so that's going to be the size. So again, it's going to be the same sort of, let me try and do the 3D again. It's going to have that the same webbing in it like the other one. Yeah, so it has this little bit of webbing in, so there's indentation here. This guy laughing at my work. Right, so what we will do is now we will measure. We can measure this beam quite easily because we know where the end of the steel is going to be here, and we know where the end of it's going to be there. All right. something like that. I'm actually doing this wrong, actually. No, I'm not doing it wrong. I'm only joking. No, what it is, this beam, sorry guys, is the one that's running that way. We're gonna have another beam running off it somewhere around here, somewhere around sort of here like this, which is gonna be this one. So we can measure from here, which I'll show you guys, which is basically from here all the way down to that end, and that will be the length of this one. Then we've got to figure out where the one that runs to the neighbors goes, which is basically exactly on top of the middle of this wall, and then we'll measure it from the side of the steel all the way into the wall here. So that will be it there, running from the bolting in here. It bolts to the side of the steel, a couple of bolts, and then it will go in the wall here. So there's that. And then the last steel we're going to do is down the kitchen end, the one above the window, which is going to be, this one's going to be sitting on it like this. Yeah, so that's the last one. So as for terms of how we install them, this is probably the first one we will install, the one above the window, which can go in at any time really. Even though we haven't got the window, we can get that steel in. Then the next one will probably be this column here. Then obviously we'll bolt this one on top of it and sit it on top of this one, and it also bolts onto this one. And then lastly, there will be the one coming off this one, which will be there, and it will go inside the wall. Obviously we've got pad stones to fit as well. So we've got a pad stone to fit in there, which we can again put in ahead of time, take out what brickwork we need to do, put the pad stone in. And obviously we need to sort out the foundation of the column as well. And then we've got pad stones for the window steel either side. We're gonna put those pad stones in. So we basically got 1, 2, 3 pad stones to put in, and I believe we've got a concrete pad stone to go down under the ground. I'm gonna look at the drawing again, but I think that's the case. The bottom of this steel will also have a plate on it, and it will be anchored down into that steel, probably with 4 bolts in it like this, and you'll have the steel column in the middle coming up like that. So that is pretty much the steel detail. So this is a big part of this job. Once we get this part of the job done, then walls can come down, this wall can come down, all that side wall can come down, and we can open up the entire space. So today's job for me, what I'll be doing is getting all these measurements, double checking them, triple checking them, and then when I'm happy with it, I can send these off with the connection detail drawings to the manufacturer and get the process of manufacturing underway. All right guys, so we are still just doing all our measurements and double checking. We've pretty much measured all the steels, and we've got our sizings. We've marked out determined where the steels are going to have its sections and drilling out and stuff like that. The last one we do now is the column. So to determine the length or the height of the column, we need to work out the bottom of the horizontal steels. So the bottom of the horizontal steels is pretty much determined about how high up into the ceiling we can get them. Now, in an ideal world, you'd have them go into the ceiling and bury them. In a lot of these older houses like this, the joists are just undersized. So the steels end up being a lot higher than the joists are. So for instance, our steel beam is 203 millimeters, okay? Which is 20 centimeters, right? That's going to be the height of our steel, which is it's about 8 inches. This is the joist here, which is where our steel beam is going to be. So as I said, in an ideal world, you would have this joist removed, and you would have your steel running. This is upstairs, by the way. It would be running under all this wall here, and it would be running all the way under this wall that goes to the bathroom, and it would be tight up underneath here, and it would be buried inside this ceiling void. Now, for that steel to be able to fit in the ceiling void, we would need to have that 20 centimeters to get it in there. We have 18 centimeters, right? So this joist is not big enough to bury the steel inside the ceiling. So the steel has to go below the ceiling and be boxed in, which is what 99% of houses in the UK will be like, especially older houses, because the old beams are just all 8 inches sort of. So what we're gonna have to do now is we'll break the ceiling from below, take out some of that lath and plaster right underneath this joist, and then we'll measure from the bottom of this joist downwards, and that's where our steel will be. Our steel will be tightly fitted under this, and then it will obviously be supporting this upper wall. So that's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna have a look at that. It's the last measurement we gotta do. Then we work down to the ground. Yeah, you can just see them. Break some higher up. See. So just break some more of the core beam on the ceiling part.
Yeah.
High up, the ceiling. Yeah, a bit there. See the joist there?
Yeah, it's right there. It's that one there, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, we can see the floorboards. Oh, is that floorboard? That's the joist.
That's the joist.
Oh yeah,
right
that's the
there.
joist. Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah. Okay, see it.
So there is our joist, and you can see the lathe that's nailed to it. That's the joist, that beam in the middle there. And that's where our steel beam is going to be tight underneath there. So we're going to measure our down from there, 203 millimeters. And then we can get to where the bottom of our steel will be.
Okay. I'm actually going to measure it from these little lathes here, the little spaces essentially. So what we do is measure from here. And we have around here. Okay. Bottom of our steel's going to be here. Alright. So we know the bottom of the steel is going to be here. We'll have to allow for the plate that's going to be welded on top of the column, and then we work down to our column. So next to do is to take some floorboards up here and have a look down. So we have to create a foundation pad for the steel column to go on. I'll show you guys here. It's going to be something like this. It's going to be a concrete pad, so it's going to be 1 meter deep, 1 meter wide, 1 meter wide that way. And then we will anchor in these 6 bolts into the concrete, and then this will be the base plate of the steel beam that will slot over that and be bolted up with 6 bolts, and the column will be rising off that, and that's to be down there in the ground. So we're gonna have to take some floorboards up, have a look underneath the ground, figure out how we're gonna do it. It's gonna be very difficult. We've done it before, but we're basically gonna have to remove a section of floorboards. We're gonna have to get down there and dig that column out. And obviously there's going to be some sort of foundations under this, so we got to figure out, well, they might not be actually, but we got to figure out how we're going to dig this in, support everything, and pour the concrete. So this is the challenge on this bit. Once you get past this, that's the difficult part as far as the structural work is concerned, and hopefully we get all our calculations right, put the 2 pad stones in, then the steel should be going in fairly easy. The steels are not that heavy. The most heaviest steel, the longest one, we have one running that way, which is about 135 kilograms. So they're not actually that heavy. So it shouldn't be too difficult for us to get in.
Hi guys, so that is the end of it for today. It's already getting dark. It's 5 o'clock. We are out of here. So we've done a lot of our calculations. We actually got the windows and door, the external window and door calculated, the sizes, giving that to the client so they can get that on order. So tomorrow we'll be back on it. We got to do the calculation for the steel beam that goes down, the steel column. We'll do that tomorrow as well. Take the floorboards up, measure down below. And actually we're going to start digging that hole. Tomorrow's job is to get under the ground, underneath the house. Will be fun, and try and dig that huge pad that we need to dig down there, so we can get that inspected by the inspector once we do dig it, and then get that passed, and then we can start pouring concrete in preparation for the steel. So guys, hope you guys enjoyed these videos. Please let us know what you think, comment section. Please also like and subscribe for more videos, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.